1976 was a thriving year on Quebec's music scene, and one of the notable releases was from singer-songwriter June Wallack, and from her singular self-titled album, the track Mirage. June Wallack there on piano. Shimmery, icy mellotron coming in the mix with that piano. The mellotron is not credited. I imagine she's playing it. Getting really epic here. Now the full band's coming on, and among the players here we've got Moose Tellier on guitar. He had been in the Ville Amard Blues Band, yes, before this, a supergroup from Quebec. And on bass there we have Bill Gagnon, who has played with various people throughout the years. In the early 70s he played with Robert Charlebois, yeah, and had also been with Ville Amard Blues Band. And the same year as this June Wallack album, played on Pierre Nadeau's solo album, who had been part of Guillotine, yeah, an important figure in on the Quebec scene. Oh, and also has a credit on Zhao's Koana. That one kind of surprises me. So he was also active in the French scene. Well, he's credited on the reissue of it, huh? Anyway, yeah. Now we're taking shape, I think. Like really open cadences are giving way to slightly tighter, yet still kind of open.
La lumière était mauve. Le ciel était de feu, nous étions silencieux, seuls tous les deux, à contempler le soleil se coucher.
I've not been able to find a translation yet, so if you can understand these lyrics, comment on them.
Tu m'as tendu la main et tu m'as entraîné dans un endroit caché, puis tu m'as embrassé. Le soir tombait, la lune se levait.
The arrangements are working really well behind her voice. That really smooth yet loud bass, mixed, in the mellotron and.
J'ai dans la tête un mirage qui fait en moi des ravages. Je m'engloutis dans tes bras, dans tes bras. Et tes bras passèrent si
the way that just wound up and just got louder and just heavier and just more grandiose, and as her voice kind of like had those dramatic flare-ups and the like heavier guitar parts and kind of slightly more like sinister vibe. That trebly synthesizer sound is quite a foreboding effect. Now that is quite an interlocking moment right there. The guitar solo is played by Vincent, and this is his only credit. Yeah, the way that he collides with the bassist is quite adept. Those lyrical like guitar parts are quite the epic touch. Now we're tightening up again, but so far we've had quite the contrast between like beautiful, like sustained, lush, lyrical passages and these more melodramatic, tense, like kind of like exploding, cathartic moments, and so it's really running the gamut emotionally.
Notre amour n'a duré qu'une courte journée. Déjà le lendemain, tu reprenais ton chemin. Je savais bien que...
I like that switch from major modality to minor.
Il changerait rien. Je ne t'ai plus revu. Je t'ai si peu connu. Pourtant tu m'as laissé un peu de quoi rêver. Je garde en moi la...
Yeah, staying in the same key, like F, but switching from F major to F minor.
De ton toucher. J'ai dans la tête un mirage qui fait en moi des ravages. Je m'engloutis dans tes bras.
Yeah, that's a great device, like to be in a key, to be in the major of a key, and then switch to minor for the next bar to like set up this whole different like section where you can incorporate more flats and sharps and. See, we're basically taking a movement here and just kind of modulating it, moving the bass note around. Oh, that was a great note, and the way she kind of quivers and stretches it out amid that mellotron. I guess I need to introduce our drummer here, Max Décoste, who, despite the really just epic pile driving and the rolls that he, in choice moments, to build up the tension and the catharsis of the heavier moments and such, this remains his singular credit according to Discogs. Yeah, here's just the layers and how they're all building, how they're all complementing one another and kind of helping each other, kind of like mutually like elevating one another. I mean, we got that main kind of like smoldering riff, that kind of dark, down, now, 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 and then we've got the wailing guitar, like solo guitar, like over that, and then we've got just the drums just like rolling and like kicking up sand. Epic. That was June Wallack with Mirage from her self-titled 1976 album. Yeah, singular talent. Kind of like, I'm reminded somewhat of, a certain singer-songwriter from, the English-speaking part of Canada who was also very active around this time. In some regards, and you probably whose first name also begins with J. But I'm also hearing elements of like the Quebec scene, which was very much kind of a world unto itself. Just this melting pot of like styles and like oftentimes using these like sustained passages and everything with melodramatic vocals and very rich, warm tonalities, like the band Contraction, for one comes to mind. Yeah. Okay, Banal Simile. I could say it's a cross between Contraction and Joni Mitchell's mid-70s period. Let's hear another track from the album, Deja C'est L'automne. Spacey. Kind of that jet engine sound. And this one just credits her. No instrumental credits on this track. Wondering where this is going to go. The real tingly type sounds. Spine tingling. It's almost like a haunted house shaking. Already it's autumn, that's how it translates.
Déjà c'est l'automne. s'est refroidi. Rouge sont les pommes, je sens le temps qui ralentit. Déjà c'est l'automne, les arbres se colorent.
Yeah, it does sound like this is largely her because I'm mostly hearing keyboards, piano, and some. I was gonna say no. I'm not. I'm not hearing mellotron this time. I'm hearing kind of like an icier synth sound. Very well arranged, self-harmonizing, arranged in the studio and such, and some selective use of like controlled cymbal sustain.
On se couche en été, on s'éveille en hiver. On se couche en été, on s'éveille en hiver.
I like the theatrical vocal delivery over this, like E flat to C type progression we got going. The way her vocal just kind of like swells up on the landing chord. Hear her, like I hear that high kind of howling in the wind sort of voice, like kind of like faintly. I'm going to assume that the band that we just heard is largely the people I already introduced, since there are only like 3 tracks that really have any. Since well, half those guys play on every other track, just about, and there's only a few other people that on assorted songs. This is an interesting arrangement, really kind of like bleak, like open cadence, like that. Hear that it doesn't. I couldn't quite place what that is. It doesn't. I guess it's a bass. It just or like it doesn't quite sound like an actual bass. So it's like. I like the way that the the cymbal sustain is colliding with that icy synthesizer and creating like kind of like cold waves. Yeah, all these really like open sustain sounds. We got that sound and the two you know the cymbal synth element that I was describing and just how her vocals just swell up above it like. And then, of course, the piano of hers just kind of like sparkles. It's like sparkling, you know, reflection on the waves, on the water.
On se couche en été, on s'éveille en hiver.
Yeah, this song has a lot of like great contrast between these like swelling, epic, melodramatic passages, or like the passage we just heard, followed by these really like anthemic like instrumental sequences like this, and then contrasted with the more like serene beauty that we were hearing during the like elongated verses and that kind of like icier sounds and such, and even and also like quieter, like more sparse passages. This runs the gamut. I like that sound right there, that dong, dong, dong. Yeah, a lot of misty sound, like adding fullness behind the piano. I imagine that these sounds are supposed to characterize certain aspects of autumn. You know, like it could be rainfall, it could be droplets, it could be puddles, it could be leaves, it could be the color, it could be the mist, the wind. Yeah, I'm hearing lots of those elements being represented by different instrumental nuances here. It's so great to hear like a singer-songwriter who incorporates just as much like sonic, like art into a piece, as much sound shaping as well as just, you know, interspersed with compositional elements. With such an ear for arrangements, it's a wonder that she only did this one album. Now that we have some really dark, I guess the bass is doing something just really unusual. How might a bassist achieve those sounds? Yeah, that was Deja C'est Autumn, Deja C'est L'automne by June Wallack, and before that Mirage. Oh, one thing I guess I need to mention, a credit to one Gros, Pierre. I was somewhat thrown by that because they didn't have a link to him on Discogs, a profile page, but that is actually a person. And on Mirage, anyway, he is credited with all other instruments. And so I guess he may have been responsible for the mellotron. Yeah. And while June Wallack played vocals, piano, and flute. And I'm going to assume pretty much the same cast of players on the last track I just played, even though no instrumentalists are credited on it. Yeah, and she, of course, is responsible for the composition, and I would imagine the arrangements as well. And yeah, quite exhibiting a lot of strength and originality on all fronts. And it's unfortunate that we didn't hear more from her, but that's the wonderful thing about the mid-70s. We get all these unique releases that from people that we didn't hear from again. And she, supposedly, I guess, kind of changed, went more into acting. She has if it's the same person, that she has a website currently. Yeah, and she's credited as being is a bilingual actress and narrator. I don't know if that's the same person, but it very likely could be. Yeah. Anyway, for more Rubies and Sapphires from June Wallack's 1976 album, see the directory of albums from artists from Quebec, linked in the description below, for red hot tracks and purples from this very Ruby packed album, as well as from similar artists on the Quebec music scene of the time period, very thriving. And like and subscribe and follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the two tracks we just heard, the layers, the instrumentation, the nuances, the soloing, the interplay, the vocal delivery, and the lyrics, if you understood them and can shine some light on what they meant and certain maybe choice passages. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most air-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.